What's your favourite, the XY graphic or the horseshoe graphic? Let's do some tests using the HOT program. Let's start off by talking about the XY screen. How does that work? Well, you've got two axes. You've got a top to bottom and a left to right. Top to bottom represents coke, wet sand and some small gold. Left to right represents bad ground, hot rock or ferrite. And your desired targets will fall somewhere in between that range. Non-ferrous will be on the right, ferrous will be on the left. The XY screen, what information can we see? Well, at the top there, we've got the battery meter. And this will change when we go over a target. This will turn into an ID meter. And this at the top is your ground phase reading. This is the XY screen. Everything to the left is ferrous, everything to the right is non-ferrous. And also you get a series of loops depending on what sort of target it is, normally big iron. And along the bottom there, we've got the standard option, menu and GB features. The horseshoe graphic is very different to the XY screen. There's a lot more information. Once again, at the top there, you've got the battery indicator, the program you're using, you've got a clock, and you've got a discrimination bar there, which greys out depending on how much discrimination you're using. As you can see, we're using program number 9 HOT, which doesn't use any discrimination, so the bar is completely open. On the right there is a mineralisation bar, or we can also call it the ground strength meter. This is your adjusted ground balance, and this is the ground phase reading. In the centre you've got your target ID, and below that is what frequency you're using. Then you've got the horseshoe screen. To the right is non-ferrous, to the left is ferrous, and in the centre there, that little bullseye, that's a target overload screen. And underneath you have options, menu and GB, just like on the XY screen. So let's assume you like day as fast, but you prefer to use the XY screen. How do you change the horseshoe graphic to the XY graphic? Firstly, go to options, configuration, profile, and then just select the minus button or the plus button, depending on what graphic you want. Here it says XY, that's perfect, so we click the back button, and now we've got day as fast with an XY graphic. There's no need to save anything because this gets remembered into the global memory. So next time you turn the DAIS on, it will remember that DAIS fast is now using an XY screen. Let's crack on and test some targets and let you see both screens side by side. The targets I'm using are hot rock, nail, coke, very thin foil, slightly bigger foil, a silver hammered coin, a larger silver hammered coin, a large milled silver coin, a rusty bottle cap, a modern bottle cap and some misshaped iron. Right, let's crack on and start off with the hot rock. As you can see, that's a left-right orientation. Simulates ground. Now let's try the nail. Small nail. And as you can see, the XY screen is showing it as being ferrous, but the horseshoe graphic is showing it as non-ferrous. And this is because I'm using the HOT program, which doesn't use any discrimination. It uses -6.4. So everything it sees will register as non-ferrous. Now the way to make ferrous indicate to the left is by introducing discrimination. Let me demonstrate. So we've got no ferrous reading. If we wanted to see a ferrous reading, we need to introduce some discrimination. I'm going to set it to about 5, +5 that is. Okay, so now we're using +5 discrimination with the HOT program. We can now see the discrimination bar is slightly greyed out on the iron range. Now let's pass the same nail over the coil and see how the horseshoe reacts. Primarily it's going onto the ferrous range. Let's give it a little bit more discrimination. 6. Once again, the nail. It's completely eliminated the sound and it's showing ferrous. -6.4, an open discrimination. Let's compare the two programs side by side, the HOT and the Day is Fast, both using the horseshoe graphic. And now the Coke. That's a soft signal with a top to bottom orientation. Just a quick note about Coke and Hot Rock. Hot Rock is discriminated by the ground balance circuit, Coke is rejected by the discrimination circuit. They're two totally different items. Hot Rock's ground, Coke is like coal really. Now for the wafer thin piece of foil. Very similar to the Coke reading, but as you can see by the XY, it's slightly to the right. Now let's try a stronger piece of foil. It's a bit more of a positive signal. Moving on, the small silver hammered coin. That's better. That's giving a good positive signal there. A nice solid XY screen and the bigger silver hammered coin, and you can hear the tone increasing. The silver milled coin. That's a very strong signal with a high tone. Can you see the XY is almost right round to flat? Now for the rusty bottle cap. No problem there. It's definitely a ferrous target. But now listen to the more modern bottle cap. Because it's not rusty and it's still the desirable shapes, shall we say, it makes this quite a difficult target to reject at times. The misshaped iron, once again it's got a loop in it which detectors tend to have difficulty ignoring. The horseshoe graphic is jumping around, but I think the XY screen's nailed it. The small silver hammered coin. See what happens to the target IDs as I go further away to simulate a deeper target. Here we go, close to the coil. A nice strong signal and a good target reading. As I move away, and closer again. When using the XY screen, you can adjust how sensitive the line is to particular targets, shallow or deep, small or large. And this is called the zoom feature. It's accessed by pressing and holding the pinpoint button until the zoom feature pops up, and then you can adjust it using the plus or minus buttons. The default sensitivity is number 6. Personally, I like to set it at number 3 because I only want confident targets to activate the line. Small or deep targets, I tend to trust the audio. As you can see, the XY screen is a lot less cluttered. It's good for identifying big iron, deep iron, hot rock, coke. It's a simple to use graphic. Whereas the Horseshoe gives you a lot more information. I think it's all down to personal preference on this one. Well, there we are. That's my short talk on the XP Deus XY and Horseshoe screens. I hope it's been of some interest. Thanks for watching, if indeed you still are. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any XP Deus videos, and drop into the XP Classroom. You'll see a link there below. We'd love to hear from you if you've got any XP stories, pictures or great finds. Hopefully see you on the next video.